So, I've been wanting to make a video about how to gain power, but I keep putting it off because for me it is, I don't want to say a sore subject, but it's not something I don't want to encourage anyone in this game to chase power because power doesn't mean anything. So if you look here, I am ranked 145 in my server, right? But if you look at the groundhog, I'm ranked 30. So in the damage I can dish out for my entire server, I'm ranked 30. That to me is the best indicator of how strong someone is in a server, um, along with your pro march. So my pro march, I'm gathering, this is gathering day, it's not that high. It's just over 3.3 million. Um, and that doesn't take into account really research or anything like that. There is a way to increase your power. So if we go to my power levels, we can break down your power, right? So my power level is 11.23 million, right? That's right there. Out of that, 6.65 million is my ant troop power. So that's how many soldier ants I have trained. So 6.65 million of my 11.23 million power comes from soldier ants. So the quickest way to gain power is to get the highest level of soldier ants that you can as quickly as you can get it. So the simplest answer to that, to the question of how do I gain power in this game, how do I build power, is to just crank soldier ants out. But what you don't see here is right now I have 1.67 million, just under 1.66 million soldier ants. And if you look here, I've lost 1.76 million. So obviously right now I have more soldier ants than I ever have. I've been building them up, I've been killing them off, I've been building them up, I've been killing them off. At the moment there's no real wars, so I'm not doing a good enough job of killing them off, if I'm being honest. I joke around, I say I'm a skelly, so like I'm a bare bones player. I only have what I need, and I'll build my power up over a couple weeks, and I'll kill my soldiers off during Warzone and get resources for it. Sorry, that's a try. And with that being said, I don't think that power is the best level of how strong you are. Now, when you get up to the higher levels where you have T9s, um, I do have logic for this. I explain it. But once you get up to like T9 or so, what I'm gonna say isn't really relevant because even me with having just T8 shooters, nothing else, not guardians, not carriers, I only have T8 shooters, and I'm about to get carriers because I have to progress in the game. But as you can see here, my carrier is only level 20, shooters is 22, Guardian is 19. Guardians is going to stay there probably until I'm getting close to T10. I do use them for garrison, but it's more of a stall tactic than it is me actually being invested into Guardians. Anyways, so build your soldier power up to build power up. I don't think it's a good idea though. And here's why. So if I, in Alliance Expedition, people tend to stay away from me now just because they see my kills. They either stay away from me or they come right for me. One of the two. There's no in between. Before I had this many kills, before I was really active in Alliance Expedition and SVS, and I only had like 2 million kills, people stayed away from me. I could do a decent amount of damage, but over time it's built up. And if I had a higher power level, the same thing would happen. It's an open invitation for strong people to attack you. So especially if I'm trying to take a squirter, or I'm trying to PvP in SVS, or I'm trying to take a troop tunnel, if you have a high power level, you have a target on your back, just immediately. Weak people are going to try and test you to see if you actually have that power level, and the strong people are going to test you and see if, just to see if they can beat you. It's kind of proud as a strong person. I normally go over to people who are significantly have a significantly higher power level than I do. If I go into mines, oh, set my mine up. I'm sorry, I haven't really been playing. I hate gathering days. I don't really play in gathering days. But if I go into mine, right, and I go to my battle reports, these are the people who beat me. All these people have T9, like almost every single one of them, or they're max T8. I wish I was there to show you guys the reports. Almost all these people. Yeah, so look, so T9 and he has a 3-star Jack Jumper. Obviously, I'm going to lose this. That's most of the people I lose to. If you see here, this guy was a 1.7 million guy, or 17 million guy, and I beat him. So power level doesn't show you how strong someone is. So there's a perk to having a high power level with so as far as soldier ants go. And that is in Alliance Expedition, you have more units to be able to throw out in SVS. You have more soldiers you'll be able to kill, but you can also just put more out. I'm basically creating troops all the time, and I kill as many as I can on the weekends, which is now why my kills are so high. That's the only real benefit in being able to say that you have a high power level. I could be 30 million power level. I probably would be 30 million if I hadn't killed most of my troops off. But it doesn't, what does that get me? It doesn't get me anything. It just gives me a target on my back. The other way to build power, I think it's probably the more efficient way, is to... So you see here, you get some from insects. That's a good way, but the other good way is your special ant power. So your special ant power is a combination of all the skills you have unlocked on all of your special ants. That's probably the best way to build power. So you want to unlock as many skills as you can. It obviously doesn't do as much as, say, getting T7 or T8 or T9 troops, but it does play a role. And the more special ant skills you have unlocked, the higher your power goes. So it's not just like you should max one ant if you're going for power and then go to the next. Especially if you're in a newer server, you're just trying to build up as much power as you can. Just unlock the skills and go to the next. Unlock 5 skills on every ant you have and then go to the next if you're trying to build that power up, say, to get into a better alliance or something like that. But that is how you build power in the ants. Again, I do want to say that I don't think that... Not a lot of people said hi. I don't think that it's really a strategically good idea to do it, though, unless you are like the top player in your server. If you're the top, let's say 3 players in your server, I do think you should be building power up. It's a different story then. If you see here, this guy's 53 million power. It's Pops. Poetry is 49. And Lonely is just under 39 as well. I think they all have T9 at this point. And if I go to... It's going to be pretty close to that if you look at the top here. So Poetry is the top, Noodle, Zoro, and then Sizzle. That's Pops, and then Lonely. So it's pretty close to being that. The reasoning for those top players, if you're in the top, let's say 3 to 5 players in your server, is because when it does come to SVS or Alliance Expedition, no matter what, you are going to be the heavy hitter, and you don't want to get you or your server in a situation where you go against someone who has enough to fill their march 5 or 6 times, especially if they have T9 or T10, and they are just murder. Or even if you are winning, even if you're beating them, even if your march is superior. Um, okay, so maybe you win 5 times. Once you get to 5 times, maybe you've lost 60, 70,000 troops. If, say, you can only fill your unit twice, and especially if you haven't been paying attention, it's real easy at that point for your healing pools to overflow. Once your healing pools overflow and you're in a really bad situation, because then you're going to have more ants die, so maybe that 70,000 goes up to 120,000, and suddenly you don't have enough for your units. Or you can barely fill it, and they keep attacking, and then other people start attacking you because you've gotten weaker now. And then suddenly your server is losing SVS or Alliance Expedition because you don't have enough ants. So for the top 35 players in a server, I'd say it's a different story. Everyone else really should be, I'd say 2 ants per unit. And what I mean by that, so for instance, if I look here, I don't have enough ants here to fill my unit on gathering day. If I look here, all carrier ants, right? So looking at the number of ants I have here, this is kind of a tell-all. I'm still mutating these. Let's actually get this started. So I'm mutating some of my T7 to T8. But overall, once I have all these done and all these are mutated, I'm just going to be over 2 soldier ants per my pro unit. So I'm still going to have a little bit more to do on soldier ant hatch day. I also have just over 1 pro unit. So my pro unit, if you're wondering how I'm coming up with this number, holds 303,000. So for carry units, I can hold 303,000 on my pro unit, and then about 17,000 on the rest. So it's really not enough. You should have 1 T1 or T2 carrier ant per unit. I use T1 because it's faster, it's cheaper, and I don't really see a point in having a T2. In SVS, the opponent gets more points, and in AE, there's just no point. In AE, you are using the T1s to go and gather, not to fight. So there's really, really no point in having T2. Yeah, I don't even have enough carrier units, so I'm still really bare bones. I can get enough for 1 unit, just over 1 unit of my Guardians once I get these mutated and enhanced. But that's it. Like, it's not even going to be 2. If you add everything up here for my secondary unit, or maybe it's right at 2. I'm still bare bones at just under 12 million. And that's how I play the game. I think that's how the game should be played. Sorry for the rant at the end here. I kind of want to hammer in the fact that I don't think it's really, really not a good idea to overinflate your power, because the first time you do run up against someone, like, oh, I got 12 million power, your same power is on you. And you have T6, and then suddenly, maybe even T6E, T6 enhanced. And you're going against someone who has high T7s, or like maybe max the instant T7, you are going to get destroyed. And then maybe you even get even really cocky. Okay, I got all these extra ants I can burn. I'm going to put them in my garrison. And suddenly you're left with no garrison, no special units. You can't hunt, you can't gain resources. It's just a really, really bad idea. There's really no upside. Again, unless you're not top 3 to 5 spot range. But you'll have a great day. Hope this video helps someone.